It's time once again for the Passion to Succeed podcast, where we explore the traits, mindsets, and attitudes of passionate and successful individuals. This show is for anyone who wants to make a difference, make more money, learn from the greatest minds, and discover how to be more successful in all you do and doing it with a pure passion to succeed. Here's your host, serial entrepreneur, successful author, and the world's most passionate master coach, Craig White.
Welcome and hello again, I'm Craig White. This podcast show is proudly brought to you by Passion to Succeed. You know, I'm stoked today. I'm so excited to have such a wonderful lady on our show. And do you know, at the beginning of every show, I just like to ask a question. And a question for you I have is, how do you keep true to being yourself, yet developing into becoming much, much more? You see, on today's show, we have a fantastic lady, Adele. Adele is a wonderful mother to 3 great children and her husband, Jamie, if you can count him. She is a successful entrepreneur, a 2-time successful author of Shy People Can Be Successful Too and 52 Tips to a Fantastic Year. As well as being a sought-after international speaker, Adele is a prime example of how you balance your life, you balance your mission of contribution and living the dream with her family in Spain and experiencing all the great things that this abundant life has to offer. And I'm really stoked, as I said, and I'm really happy to have Adele with us today. So welcome to today's show, Adele de Casa. Welcome and hello again. I'm Craig White, and this podcast show is proudly brought to you by Passion to Succeed. As always, I like to start our shows with a question, and today's question is simply this: how would it feel to keep true to being you, yet developing yourself into becoming much more today than you was yesterday, yet holding your true core values? So look, on today's show, we have a fantastic lady, Adele de Casa. Adele is a wonderful mother to 3 great kids and Jamie, if we can include him. She's a successful entrepreneur, a 2-time successful author of Shy People Can Be Successful Too and 52 Tips to Having a Fantastic Year. As well as being a sought-after international speaker, Adele is a prime example of how to balance her mission to contribute and living the dream in Spain with her wonderful family. A true inspiration to many on many, many levels. So Adele, welcome to today's show. It's great to have you back. Dare I ask, where are you today and what's the weather like?
Hi, Craig. Yes, it's absolutely fantastic to be back. And yes, the weather is great. I'm in Spain at the moment, and I hate to tell you that the sun is shining and it's very, very hot. So yes,
I'm always forever jealous, yet inspired by your adventure and your opportunity that you've created to live the dream in Spain with your journey. I mean, tell us a little bit about your journey, Adele. I mean, obviously, knowing you as I do, me personally, I know a little bit of where you're from and what you've achieved, the challenges you've gone through, and the lifestyle you live and how you continue to work hard on, you know, yourself and having an influence. But you know, for our listeners, for people that maybe stumbled across the show for the first time, or for people that even know you, that have connected with you in the past, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey.
Okay, I'd love to. So going back to sort of when I was a child, I was always really, really shy and lacking in confidence. And that sort of stayed with me until I was, you know, at school and college, and even university. But after university, I started work, not really knowing what I wanted to do. I didn't really have any sort of major careers in mind, to be honest with you. So I started a job in a hospital, in a laboratory. To be honest, I didn't really enjoy it that much. I did meet some nice friends, but I didn't really enjoy the job. So I was sort of constantly looking around me for other opportunities. And luckily, an opportunity did come along the way for me to start a business based from home, which I still work today. And I love that business, you know, with a passion. But what the business did for me, not only give me this extra income, which I eventually built up to a full-time income so that I could leave the job that I didn't really enjoy, which was fantastic. But as well as that, it also gave me the introduction to personal development, which is something I've become really passionate about over the years. Straight away, because I'd sort of read so many books at university and college, I'd sort of got fed up of reading. I didn't really want to, pick up another book if I didn't have to. But when I sort of got introduced to this other sort of form of reading, it was like, wow, where's this been hiding? It was I was into it straight away, and I just became sort of eager just to get the next book and the next book. And it was all about how to, live a better life, and how to become a successful person, and just generally be a better person. So me and Jamie both got into the personal development thing, and the first set of tapes we ever listened to was a set by Jim Rohn, a guy from America who just had these really, really fantastic philosophies on how to live a great life. So that's where it all started. Over the years, as I say, I just read more and more, went to different events. There was lots of events put on by the company that we were working with, and we just met successful people and wanted to just, increase our level of success, really. So I got to the point where, I was all along the way, I was developing my confidence as well, which was great. And it got to the point where I had to give a talk on stage in front of a few thousand people. And I thought it was something I'd never thought I'd be able to do. But because of all this, development that I was doing, it actually, it went well, as far as I'm concerned anyway. I don't know what the audience thought, but I enjoyed it. And it was after that, speaking on that day, that somebody asked me, what are you going to do next? And I said, I'm going to write a book. And it just came out of the blue, really. I just thought, I really want to write a book just to show what's happened to somebody like me who could never, ever dream of being and of doing that kind of thing, from what I went from, the kind of person I was before I started out. I thought, surely, there's got to be other people out there that were like I was, and they could learn from this too. So I just decided I'd put everything I knew and everything that I'd learned into a book and share it with other people so that they could have the same experience as me. Because, looking back, I was always ambitious and I always had that entrepreneurial sort of spirit in me, but I never had the confidence to pursue anything. So that's what I thought. There's lots of people out there that also have that, and they could benefit from knowing what to do with it. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of knowing how to go about it and how to just push themselves forward a little bit. So the first book came along. It's very, very sort of simple and easy to read book, and so is the one that followed, because I feel that that's important for people that have never sort of been introduced to personal development before. The books are really easy to read. You can just pick them up, read a couple of pages and put it down again if that's what you want to do.
I totally agree. I think, obviously having read both of your books, and I remember when you brought out your first book, Shy People Can Be Successful Too, which I guess is the message that you're sharing with us now about how you never thought that you'd be able to deliver that talk on the stage or even, become the success that you have and work for the successes of the future. And I guess, success is different to every one of us, and we'll probably talk about that. But I know in the book, Shy People Can Be Successful Too, to discuss first, it is a very simple read. It's a very strong read. And what I mean by that is it is simple to read, which is great, but it has so many strong points of focus in there. One of them I loved, you talk about how to remain true to yourself, which I think is really important. I think sometimes people say, well, I'm happy with who I am, I don't want to change. Well, it's not necessarily changing who we are, is it?
No, not at all. It's exactly how you just said. It's keeping, it's being you, but enhancing that you so that you're the best version of yourself that you can be. And I even sort of, one of my messages is that I even think people should embrace, whatever they are, whether it's shyness, whatever it is about, because a lot of people have sort of things about their personality that they feel is stopping them. But whatever it is about your personality, that is you, and that makes you unique. So you should embrace whatever that is. And for me, it's embracing the shyness. And that's what I try and sort of get across to people, that if they are shy, they should not try and get rid of that at all. They should just embrace it and use it to their advantage, because, shy people, they have a lot of good qualities, that they can bring to the table in business. And I really feel that that's important, that you don't actually start trying to change who you are, because you wouldn't have been made like that, do you know what I mean? If you were meant to change, you wouldn't have been the way you were to start with. But then there's lots of things that we can do to just make ourselves a better version of ourselves. And so that's what, I do concentrate on in the book, is all the little skills that you can put to use just to make sure that you put across the best self that you are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for me, totally. And I hope that, more and more people can understand and actually be proud of the attributes that they have, but take on this philosophy of, learning more to become the very best version of yourself. I mean, what a great way to put it is, and even have as a quote, maybe people should get this all around them, become the very best version of yourself. Because I think you're right, people do have that, I guess, that eternal magic within them, a passion, a purpose. And I guess, like the rainbow, we need all the colours, just like we need all the personalities to make up the world.
Exactly, yeah.
So obviously you're a successful lady. I mean, what does success mean to you now? I mean, you've been successful in business. You've been successful in developing yourself. You've been successful in bringing up your children. I know they're very young and, I guess, challenging and fun and everything that comes with being a mum. But you are a successful lady, a mumtrepreneur, an author, and I guess trying to get some of the things that you're passionate about, maybe habits that you feel highly passionate people possess. I mean, what springs to your mind? What are you passionate about? What keeps you on song? What keeps you in the game, kind of contributing and wanting to continually learn and become more? What are you passionate about?
Okay. I'm still to this day really passionate about learning. So just learning about how to be, a better person, how to, be a successful person, and also sharing what I've learned. So that gives me great, sort of satisfaction, is coming across stuff that, that I feel is beneficial to me and then sharing it with everybody else. So that is a big part of what I do. And to be honest with you, I spent quite a number of years, because I read lots of books, and they were all saying, find out what your passion is, what is your purpose, what were you put here to do? And to be honest, I think I spent quite a lot of time, and perhaps I don't know about wasted time, it's probably wrong to say that, but I kept thinking, what is this? There's something out there that I'm meant to be doing. Even when I'd written the books and everything, I kept thinking there's something else there, but actually it was right in front of me. It was staring me in the face, because it was the fact that I'm absolutely passionate about learning about other successful people and what they're doing to create that success. And then I'm passionate about sharing what I've learned with as many people as possible. So, that's where my passion lies. And, and what I'm going to do, what I'm working on at the moment, is putting together a course to share more knowledge with people. Again, shy entrepreneurs that perhaps want to make a difference in the world, but don't really know what is the next step. They're too shy, lacking in confidence to go out there and do something about it. So that's what I'm working on at the moment, and that's what I'm really passionate about. But the other thing I'm passionate about is just taking a little step back and just enjoying the moment, and just, living a great life. And, the kids grow up so fast, you know what it's like. Children, they grow up so fast, and it's all about, spending time with them now, and just creating as many memories as we can with them while they're still young enough to want to be with us, because they're growing up, and, the eldest one's starting college in September. So it's just really important to me now that we spend as much time as a family as we can, and that we do make every day count, and some part of every day is enjoyable, in some way as a family. So that's really, really important.
Yeah, totally. I think, it's getting that, I guess, balance, which is what I mentioned earlier about how you've got that balance of contribution. And Joe, when you were talking earlier, it just reminded me of how so many successful, entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, leaders, other authors, people that are the very best of the best in the game. I heard someone say recently, being the best of the best, but no better than the rest. What a great concept. But they always talk about learning and contribution and making a difference to other people. And that's what you're doing. You said you're kind of looking for your calling, which I guess we'll talk about a little bit later, but you were looking for, that purpose, that reason why. And as you said, you've stumbled across it, but you're almost doing what I guess is true to contribution. It's almost giving value without need of, compensation. It's about doing it because you love it.
That's right.
And you can hear that in your voice, Adele. It's very inspiring. So So how did you manage to? Because you know what, everyone in life comes up with these goals and these ambitions, these to do: lose weight, get fit, eat better, drink less, run more, spend more time with the family, write a book, or succeed in this area in life. And for me, one of the habits of successful, passionate individuals is passionate people learn to prioritize and focus. And within your busy schedule of running a business, running a family, and also learning and developing, how have you become a successful author? How have you managed to, produce 2 fantastic books in, I guess, such a short space of time? How have you managed to stay on track and actually almost deliver the goods, so to speak?
Okay. I was very, very fortunate with the first book because it was the first time we'd actually come to Spain. So we came for 9 months for the first time. And the children were in school from 9 till 5 every day, which was slightly different to how it works down in this area. But I had sort of quite a lot of time to put into that, but it still needed to be prioritised. So I did still need to set aside time, which I did. So I wrote a little bit every day, probably spent an hour a day on it, and then got the basics of the book together during that 9-month period. However, then it got put on the back burner for a time after we returned from Spain because our third child came along. So we got even busier than we were, having 3 children now. So it did get put on the back burner for a short while. But then again, when I took it back up again, when the little one was sort of old enough to go off to nursery, I gave myself a deadline for the book. So I said, right, we can spend so long on things. You've got to give yourself a deadline. So I gave myself a deadline. I think it was about a 3-month period. And I decided that every Wednesday that I was working on the book, and that was all I was doing. Because it is easy to get distracted when you've got sort of, lots of things going on, and you've got perhaps 2 or 3 different business, things going on. Because I know a lot of people, it's all to do with multiple streams of income, isn't it? So people are juggling lots of different businesses. But if you can just set aside time for each one at some point during the week, and it's in the diary and nothing else gets in the way of that, then that's how I feel that it works. For sure, it works for me that way. Wednesday was book day, and that involved, in the morning it was writing. So it was getting the final writing together, and then in the afternoon it was dealing with anything else that needed to be dealt with, sort of like on the publishing side. So it was ringing printers and ringing about the ISBN numbers, for example, and things like that. So whatever what there was to deal with the book was done on that day, and I did. I managed to complete it for the time that I'd said, just simply because I prioritised it on that day and nothing else got in the way. And something I was reading recently about, I was reading a book from a lady that's successful, and she was saying the same thing. She got children, and if ever the children were at nursery, she'd be doing the housework. She'd find herself hoovering or putting a wash in or something. And somebody turned around to her and said, look, when the kids are at nursery, that's when you spend time on the business or on your work, because that's the time. The cleaning can be done any time, can't it? The household chores can be done at any time, but your time to work on that business is there and now. So you've got to take advantage of that time. So again, it's prioritising, not letting anything get you distracted. That's why I find, even now to this day, I don't work in the house if I don't have to. I go out and I work in a coffee shop, because I know that if I'm there and I'm concentrating on the task in hand, then I'm not going to get distracted by things that need doing in the house. Because there's nothing worse than sitting there writing and looking at a pile of something that needs to be done, whether it's dishes that need to be loaded into the dishwasher or a washing that needs to go in. It's distracting. Whatever it is, I need to get out of the way and just do it where I'm on my own and nothing else can get in the way. And that's how I work best, and that's what I recommend to people.
I totally agree. I think when you're working at home, it's almost I think sometimes people, working from home, it's about not necessarily being stuck at home. It's about, maybe your base is at home, but getting out in the environment. I sometimes go and sit by there's a lake not so far away from me. It's a rowing lake. There's a hotel and a kind of a bar restaurant there, and I can sometimes just go drive down there in my car, and even sometimes just sit in my car if the weather's not great, because it's just a different environment. It's an environment without distraction. It's nice to get out in nature. And I think when we're in motion, it helps us to find that motivation as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So as you move forward, I mean, obviously there was some key principles in your book, and there's some really great techniques in there. And I guess what I want to talk about is a few some other things that are happening, because I think if people can, make a commitment to, get both the books, why shy people can be successful too, because there's some really basic, focused, great techniques in there. Some the fundamentals is even the right word for people to kind of follow and start to, I guess, look to implement in their life. And then your second book is almost giving people a tip a week.
Yes.
And well, it is a tip a week. They just get the chance to read them all at the same time.
Yeah.
However, it's a fantastic way for people to really get some foundational personal development in place and start to maybe, find out what their purpose is or discover it by just being in that environment. With your course, I mean, what are the kind of the key kind of areas that you're looking to concentrate on? Is there anything particular that you've discovered or you feel now that's focal to people's success?
Yeah, there is. I've come up with sort of the 4 key areas that I believe helped me a lot, and I've sort of split everything, all the different parts of the course, into these 4 areas. So the 4 areas, these are what I feel. I mean, generally, really, for people, anybody that wants to be successful, but more importantly for people that are coming from a shy background, I feel that these were key for me. And the first one was confidence. So building up, that confidence and belief in yourself to do, that you can do what it is that you set out to do. The second area is just a few simple communication skills. So, I mean, people think it's a really sort of hard thing to become, a great conversationalist, or, that they've got to be able to deal with people. It takes a lot, but it's actually a few simple things that you need to know. So I do talk about communication, and because if you want to succeed in business, you have got to be, good at communicating. Although these days, obviously with technology, it's a lot easier. But there's just some key, little things about how to deal with people in there. So that's, things that I learned just from dealing with people in my business and giving little, testimonial talks and presenting the business to different people. It's just little things that I came across. I then talk about your calling. So like I was saying earlier, what is it that drives you? What is your why? What is your reason for doing it? And just talk a little bit about that, not always being, that you have to search for what you believe is the real reason that you were, that what you were meant to do. It's all about, just looking a little bit closer to yourself and finding something that you actually, that you love doing. And that could well be, your purpose and your reason why. So we talk about that. And then the last thing is developing a consciousness for success. So it's just about getting your head right and getting the right mindset for success, because that's, something that, again, it's one of my major passions is mindset, because I believe with the right mindset, anybody can accomplish anything. I really do. Yeah, so that's the 4 key areas that we talk about, and it's all takes the form of different little things. So some will be videos, and some will be little key exercises and worksheets and things for people to go away and do. So I think, I'm really excited about it all.
It sounds really exciting. I think that consciousness for success is more often than not sometimes the missing element, isn't it? I guess. Yeah. In a way that almost the philosophy of, obviously, I guess slightly different, but same sort of principle is, people who win the national lottery, usually within a couple of years, they're completely skinned. It's that philosophy. If you shared out every sort of penny, dollar, dime, yen, euro, whatever, equally to the human beings on the world, eventually it'll end up back in the same pockets, because people have got a consciousness of wealth. They've got a mindset of wealth. They've become worthy, and I guess they know what to do with it. And I think sometimes people can, be working hard. It's all well and good to put that blood, sweat and tears in, and maybe be great at communicating, maybe know what our motivation is, and maybe even having an element of confidence as well, which they're all, I can see why they're all really vital. But that consciousness to success, I think, can sometimes be the trigger, getting the mindset right.
Yeah, I think you're right, definitely.
Getting that 6 inches right to actually be successful, sort of mind, body and soul, before it happens.
Because if you've got the right mindset, then the action will, you'll perform the action in the right way. Because, you can have people doing the same actions, and if the person isn't sort of doing it with the right frame of mind and the right attitude, then the action will have different results depending on who's carrying it out.
Yeah, totally. Again, it's about being true to yourself, isn't it? In being the greatest version of yourself, and just having good values and contributing to others without need of compensation, as you've said, doing it because you love it. Which is really, really cool. So what are you up to for the rest of the day? It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. What are you up to today? I don't tell me you're going to the beach.
That's tempting, actually. We did that last night. We went to the beach at dusk. It was so beautiful. It was just a really nice time because it's so hot now in the day. So it's nice to go to the beach at night time when it's started to cool down. So we did that last night, and I feel that might be a possibility again today.
Hey, well, you deserve to be living the dream and enjoying yourself, Adele, for your consistent contribution. And I do hope everyone's enjoyed today's show. I guess there's a wealth of knowledge from yourself, and people can connect with you at your website, adeledicasso.com, and this course sounds really exciting. So I'm looking forward to hear more about that when you're ready to launch. So, hey, look, thanks again. It's been great to have you on the Passion to Succeed show, and I'll look forward to speaking to you soon, Adele.
Thanks, Craig. I think it's a great thing that you're doing with this as well, so well done. Brilliant.
If you enjoyed today's show, we would appreciate it if you would most people share through social media, then subscribe, rate and provide a review over at iTunes and SoundCloud. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. The Passion to Succeed show is brought to you by passiontosucceed.com. Get over to the website, subscribe, and join the community of passionate people.